Alright, and we're live. And so this is going to be your leadership sort of scene here with all the things that you've got to deal with and as being the head of a company now. So one thing I will give to you before you start doing all your decisions and things like that, and I mean, at some point, Milk will bring this up to you. I don't think he's online right now, or else I'd bring him in real quick. Um, Yeah, so he had his scene earlier today, and during his scene, he decided to go for a bit of a walk around a camp. It was a camp you guys made on the way back to Grunburg, because it was a couple days walk, so you guys camped in the woods on the way, followed the river, to make sure you were on the right path. And he found a pair of footprints that they were in a weird position as oh they were watching you guys sort of set up camp and whatever you guys were doing there in camp. He wasn't able to follow them any further than that, but he did sort of see where their viewpoint would have been, and it was pretty squarely on your tent and Marguerite's tent. So he would have probably reported that to you, or had somebody report that to you. Yeah, this happened 2 or 3 days ago at this point.
Okay, so timeline is we had the battle.
Yep.
Which we were about 4 days out. We had the battle.
Mm-hmm.
We traveled back towards Grunburg.
Mm-hmm.
In traveling back towards Grunburg, before we got to Grunburg, we made a camp.
Yeah, it's a small camp on the riverside.
Makes sense. I mean, if we're several days out, we're going to end up having a camp no matter what.
Yeah.
So we made a small camp along the river. During that time, Drachlin noticed footsteps, followed those footsteps, and noticed that they were in a position to where essentially whoever created those footsteps could clearly see Marguerite's and my tents.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Then I would assume very much so. That's probably why he wanted to meet up with me this evening, so he could tell me, hey, I noticed this. Give me a heads up that he did notice that. I'm assuming so anyhow. He wanted us, him and me, to have a session, a short session, so that he could give me some information.
Yeah, that's probably... I mean, I think that's what it is. It all. I mean, there could be other things, but I'll let him tell that if you guys get together.
Okay. So, are we still in that camp then?
We can go back there if you want. I mean, I can set up to where this starts back then, and then we can come back as we need to.
Well, because obviously, if we were in that camp and he came to me with that information, I would, of course, want to go see those tracks myself.
Sure, I'll
see if I could notice things.
I will bring that back out. So let me get this. And I'll get some.
Okay.
Is the music loud? Good enough, or?
No, the music's perfect.
Alright. Alright, so I'll bring you out here, or you might be able to bring yourself out here, I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
I got you. Alright. Hey, this map doesn't have the grid, so yeah, he'll show you where I'll have him go out and sort of it shows you where they are, and it's just like on the edge out here. It's further than this, obviously, but it's around this area up here,
Okay.
and they were just sort of looking down, and they could see. And your tents are these big ones, um, and the way the hill is slanted, they see squarely on top of those.
So these two up at the top,
Yeah.
basically, are our tents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, yeah, it's too bad if he's not on right now. So, after receiving the information from Drachman, I asked him to show me, where these footsteps are.
And he shows you, and it's they're overlooking the camp there, and it's like he tried to follow the trail himself, but he lost it in the leaves. Like there were some leaves further forward that everything kind of jumbles together between animals and whatnot, so he couldn't follow any further. But when you see the footsteps that he shows you, the footsteps are huge. Like they look humanoid, but they're very large. I mean, you put your feet up next to him, he puts his feet, and dwarves have big feet despite being small people, and so the guys compare this thing, and it's not inhumanly big, but they're large footprints.
Okay. And what time of day, night is this?
It's tilting towards the evening, starting to
Okay.
starting to get towards late eve.
Okay. So I asked Drachman to follow me back into the campsite,
Okay, he does.
and I'm going to go ahead and ask to speak to Gottfried.
Okay, find him. That's not his token.
That's not his token.
Let me make sure I did the token correctly for him. I did not give it, so let's do this again. Let's get that music again so I can put that in a loop. There we go. Alright, so now let's see if we've got him. Come on, Gottfried. There we go. That's Gottfried.
I say, okay, Drachman, I want you to be the man, to be the dwarf in charge right now. I want you to go ahead and set up the rest of the gutter blades, the rest of the mercenaries, in a watch formation, and have set them up so that they are watching throughout the night. If you could go do that now, I appreciate it. Thank you for showing me where those footsteps were. Let's keep this between ourselves right now. No need to spook anyone.
He'll do it. He'll take up the command for now. And you'll
Okay,
get him ready.
so, yep, I want him to go ahead and head off with the other regular gutter blades, and they can work together on setting up a watch schedule so that there's someone always on watch throughout the camp. And then I turned to Gottfried. I said, Gottfried, you fought well back there. You distinguished yourself, and you've proven yourself worthy and capable.
Alright, thank you, Captain.
Because of this, I'm sending you on a mission ahead of us. We shall return back town. I would like you to go to Altdorf. Can you do that?
Oh, Captain, I know the way.
Good man. I thought it could. What I'd like you to do is make your way to Altdorf, and we'll follow you in a week's time. We have injured men that need to heal. In that week, I would like for you to catch up with, oh goodness, what's his name again?
Gothard, half-handed.
Gothard Halfhand. You can find him in Altdorf. He promises jobs if we arrive there. He worked with our previous captain, rest his soul. I want to know what he's doing. I want you to keep eyes on him. I want you to follow also want you to get the feel for the political climate. I want to know what's going on in Alberta. I want to know who's talking to who's passing by him. I want to know everything. When I arrive in a week's time, I'll meet with you and you can give us that information. Can you do this?
Oh, aye, Captain. Never been much for politics myself, but I'll keep me ear to the ground.
I just need to know things. You don't need to know politics. I just need to know what you see and hear.
Aye, Captain. I can do that.
Here are 6 silver shillings to take with you to make housing and food for yourself while you're there, and if you need anything else. And then I give him 6 silver shillings. I have 72 silver shillings right now.
All right. 66.
So I will go to 66.
He takes it and says, "All right, Captain, you've got my word. I'll do everything you ask. I'll be ready when you get there."
Thank you, Godfrey. Godspeed. And I send him off.
And he, nods and gives sort of a half-assed salute and heads out of the camp. Grabs, he's traveling light, so he's grabbing like a few things that he needs, and then he's off.
Whatever he needs. While everyone's resting, unpacking, healing, settling in for the night, while Dracon is setting up schedules for watches, I decide to go take a closer look at these footsteps.
So yeah, I mean, when you head over to look at them, they do look like a man's footprints. They're sort of got the boot prints and things like that. It doesn't seem like just any other kind of footprints than that. They're just exceptionally large for a human's like size. Like they're crazy big feet.
Okay. Well, dwarfs being who and what they are, obviously he wasn't skilled enough to follow them. I'm gonna see if he's gonna love hearing that. I'm gonna see if I can do a little better and try and pick up the trail if possible.
Yeah, go for it. Follow the trail. You get a little bit further than he did past the leaves. I mean, you look at the leaves when you go up there, and it's like, okay, yeah, there's some animal tracks here, but there's not huge crumpled up leaves everywhere. There's only a few parts of that are just crushed up huge amounts of leaves. And so you follow those for a little while further, but then it gets down to like some muck and mud, and maybe it rained in this portion or something. You don't know, but you sort of lose it at that point.
Okay. Well, in any case, I take a nice, slow stroll around the campground and just kind of keep my eyes peeled as I just kind of move about the campground and look to make sure everything is as it should be, and nothing seems curious or out of place.
I mean, well, there are a couple curious things, but nothing that relates to what you look for. And there's one part of the wall that's apparently been turned into a makeshift latrine for the duration of the stay, and that's a bit of a mess to walk past. And then there were a few small, like, makeshift headstones that someone put up, and if you count them, it seems to be proportional with the amount of men that died in the last battle.
So our captain is there.
You burned them. It's somebody must have just been feeling more sentimental and just decided to make some sort of like Sigmarite sigils and put them in the ground. And
So this is an established kind of camp area.
yeah,
We happen to be
Well, this is you guys set this up. I mean, you guys. This is the wall is a bit much. It's probably not that pronounced, but yeah, you guys. This is something that mercenaries, put together. It's important to fortify a camp because you never know what's going to come out of the Reichwald. So, I mean, you guys all had the supplies together, put stuff up, and had the camp just up and at them. It looks more raggedy than this, but this is the general kind of idea of what you got. You got a little bit of fenced in area.
Okay. So, since I was unable to follow the tracks, I had my man on his mission. We're going to go ahead and head back on in to Grunburg,
All right.
so that way our people can get healed.
Bring you back to the river review. Gottfried, what are you doing back? GM him. All right. So now this is present time more or less. You guys are in Grunburg and
Yep. Present time in Grunburg, and we're back in a tavern. I'm assuming maybe not necessarily the same tavern, or I don't know if there's only one tavern or not. I don't know how small Grunburg actually is.
it's not a terribly small town, but yeah, it's not necessarily the Riverview as it was. It could be any tavern. It's entirely up to you guys.
Okay. You, you know what? Yeah, since we're already familiar with it, we went back to the same tavern.
Okay, Riverview Tavern then.
So the same, I believe it was the bartender I spoke to. Yeah, before we set off on our mission.
It is.
Then I go back to him again, and I ask him, "What news? Have you heard any new news?
He sees you.
Different since the last time I've spoken to you."
He sees you and he's wary for a bit, but he remembers that you paid him 2 silver shillings to talk to him. So I mean, basically, so he's like, oh, yeah. It's like, oh, news. Well, let me think. He's scratching his chin. Well, news from the north. Orcs are still rampaging up there in northern provinces. Doesn't mean much to us. Far as other news, I don't know what you're looking for. I mean, local news, nothing exciting. Here's something about that fella you was asking about before. Shower, I don't know how to pronounce his bloody name. Word is he's got a new head on display outside of his mansion. But,
We gave him that head.
oh. It was an ugly mug from what I understand. It must have been a nasty feller.
All men are ugly when they die.
Yeah, sure enough. And he's sort of weird about that one, but I don't know what other news you might be wanting after.
I was just curious about anything strange or different, anything that stands out to you as being out of place, other than us.
Just got to think about that one.
If it's nothing, that's fine. If nothing comes to your thoughts, then so be it.
Well, been hearing about travelers getting waylaid on the road in a strange manner. None of their goods being taken, just bodies. Sort of strange.
What road is that?
Oddly enough, the road from here to Altdorf. Outriders rode through and didn't find nothing. Just found the corpses. Not that regular, mind you. Not like every traveler, but there were a couple groups that had happened to. Doubt whatever it is would bother with armed men such as you and yours.
Thinks to himself, damn, just send Gottfried on his own.
Other than that, it's pretty much the same. Mad Marcus on his crusade against beastmen. Beastmen, he rolls his eyes out of here. But yeah, there's not much else going on here.
Thank you for your time, old man.
Always happy to see you. And he takes the silver
Yeah,
shilling and.
bet you are. Okay, so I walk back to the table. I let everyone know that we're going to be staying here for approximately 1 week until Rudiger is fully healed. During that week, he's going to need to make contact, or we're going to need to make contact. In any case, he's going to need to be healed by the priestess of Shalea, to try and heal him. And if he is not fully or mostly healed in that week's time, we will contact a healer, a doctor, who we will then also pay to get him back in fighting shape.
And they all nod and in their cups. And if Rev were here, I'm sure he'd appreciate that. But yeah, it's all. Yeah, I mean they get this. So they're. I mean, do you want them doing anything specific during this time, or are they just going to be having some downtime until you guys are ready to get moving again?
I think they're going to pretty much be having some downtime until we're getting ready to move again. I would like to try and take advantage of what services are offered in this town, as far as weapons items, just out of curiosity, seeing what kinds of things are available in this area.
Well, there's usual goods and services. I mean, it does have a market. It's a reasonably sized city. I mean, this is a city of over 2,000 people, so it's not it's not Altdorf, but it's a pretty decent sized city. There's your usual goods and services. I mean, what you would expect from a city of the heartland of the empire. So I mean, it's got pretty decent amount of services available. More peculiar items might be difficult to come across, but your standard goods and services, and some things might be a bit more expensive as well, because there's things are not as easy to get a hold of here with it in a smaller city.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I will save all of that for Altdorf. All the kind of goods and services things.
Hmm.
Um, but as far as what we're going to be doing here, I beyond having especially Rudiger heal, I don't know what else there is for us to do here. I can, I mean, I asked the bartender about anything going on, and he doesn't know. I mean, as far as I don't know where else to go to find out if anyone needs any kind of services, or if anyone needs to hire basically a mercenary or.
So you could gossip. You could do some gossip rolls and see.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Or just get the gist. Like you could, and with gossip, you could like just set me parameters, and each role can be a separate one. So like if you're gossip searching for jobs, you're gossip searching for just peculiar news around. You can just add other bar patrons and things like that, and see hey, the thing about this, and it could lead to some things.
That's perfect. That's the kind of ideas I'm looking for there. So, um, I would like to check about jobs, obviously. So, we're a band of mercenaries. We need to get paid.
Mm.
So the first thing I'm drinking and hanging out and discussing with people is getting the feel for who's looking for what and what kind of jobs.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a gossip. Oh, oh, baby. I'll give you a +5 for the hell of it, because you are in an atmosphere people are relaxed and drinking. So we'll call that a 1 degree. We'll call that a 1 degree.
You can say they've seen me passing out money.
Yeah. They say, oh man, he might give us some shillings. So you don't hear much as far as like high-paying work, but there is someone willing to shell out a couple gold crowns if you know they've heard about a guy wanting to hire some help to go out and deal with this beast in the woods that um, he's got a kind of vendetta thing against, and he's actually here at the bar. Um, and they people point him out to, and he's well. Other than that, they don't. There's not a whole lot. Um, People are looking for. It's other than like some small folk jobs, which you might turn your nose up at, like helping somebody with their crops or farming dung. And
Yeah.
that's about the one that sounds up your alley.
I approached the man that people were talking about,
All right.
who has the issue with some kind of beast somehow.
So you see this gentleman, and he's basically wearing tatters and rags, and he's sitting at the bar drinking. He's got a massive flail on his back. And he's not a big guy. He looks like the way he does in the picture. He's not a big looking guy, but he's very wiry, like you can see. He's not. He's almost in small clothes, like he's in such tattered rags at this point. He smells horrific, and he's just sitting there in what you imagine is probably his filth, the filth of animals, and he's just sitting there drinking. He's got scars all over him.
I walk up and I push the chair out of the way and I stay standing and I tell him, "Sir, I've heard you've got a wee beastie problem. I'd like to offer my services to help you."
He looks over at you, and he's not sober at all, but he's got sort of a bearing about him. A wee beastie problem, a big beastie, but I could use someone. He looks over, but I know who he is. I can't afford a whole company.
Well, that's okay. My company is resting anyhow. They need to heal. They need to drink. And they need to lay with women. In the meantime, I can help you.
And he looks you over, and he shakes his head. Yeah, he's like, all right, all right. You gonna have a seat? You gonna stand over me?
Normally, I would make you stand to look me eye to eye. But since you're offering a job, I'll sit and look you eye to eye. I pull the chair back towards me and I sit down and face him.
And he looks at you and goes, that's right, right. Well, my name's Marcus. Some folks call me Mad Marcus, but I think I'm pretty sane. Anywho's, there were some beastmen what came to me farm about 8 months ago. Killed me wife, killed me homestead, all the farm animals, burned me fields. Killed a couple in a rage. Got drunk, forgot about it for a few days, but then remembered I didn't get one of them. And he takes a swig of his drink. But I got a good feeling I know where he is. So, I'm proposing a beast hunt.
What can you offer me in exchange for a beast hunt?
Well, we'd be going together, so you got a meat shield for you, and he looks over, he sees a kind of I mean, I'm assuming you got your crossbow on your back or something, but since I'm doubting many people would want to tangle with a beastie, 1-to-1, but I'll do it willingly. But more so, I'm not a rich man. Spent most of me money on the flail, but what I've got left I'll give you. I got 4 gold crowns.
Well, we're headed to Altdorf. It's an expensive city. 4 gold crowns is better than no gold crowns. And your flail catch another one. Point me in the right direction, old man.
He says, whoa, whoa, hold on now. I'm not giving you me flail. I was just saying that's why I ain't got more money to offer you.
No, but when you die, I'm gonna take your flail and sell it.
He laughed. Well, the feeling is mutual. If you die, I'll be selling that fancy crossbow. He says,
If I die, it's all yours, old man.
right. And he's like thinking, it's like, well, if you're wanting to head out soon, we could probably get to him before the night falls. Don't really want to tangle with a beastie at night time, but
That's fine, I don't mind. Actually, more shadows the better. Lead the way.
all right. And let me go ahead and set this up real quick.
Just by the way, what is the sound effect you're using for your tavern? It's pretty awesome.
It is called. It's the same tavern.
It's pretty good. I like it.
Good enough. Good enough.
I mean, I heard someone coughing in the background.
Yeah, I like this one. It was pretty. There's a lot. It's a lot of noise, and that's what you need.
Yeah.
Right. So give me just 1 minute. I'm gonna stat a beastman. I didn't have one ready. I should have, but I need to stat one real quick. There we go.
Fucking beast,
I
man.
know, dirt bags.
Always reminds me of the island of Dr. Moreau.
I'm not familiar. I'm too young of a man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm giving my age away. The Island of Dr. Moreau is a movie about a geneticist who creates an island and he turns, he creates these half human, half animal creatures. It's pretty good.
Gnarly. I have to look into that.
It's a total campy classic.
I think I've heard of it before, but I haven't had the pleasure.
solo session.
Nice. Yeah, bring him in.
Sounds like you joined.
Hey.
He told me my captaincy will be short-lived unless I give all the power. The only person of noble descent, the Marguerite de Bourneville. What a mess. You're there, Marguerite.
Hounding over that position.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting to abuse power.
I'm the noble.
Ooh,
I'm the noble.
look at me.
Little rich bitch. So are you rolling up a Beastman right now?
I was just statting him from the book. No looking, no meta.
No. He's saying it should have been mine. I was cheated from my destiny by your impoverished hands. Lando Schmando.
Lando Schmando. My goodness.
Oh my god.
What a man. What a woo man.
What a whoa, man.
Alright. Bring it out here. And this. Sorry if this looks familiar. So yeah.
Holding one of my strong ales.
Oh yeah. The best kind.
Alright. I have to tell North to shut the hell up now since we're back out here.
Yeah, so you know, you head out into the Reich with Marcus, and he's leading you, and I mean, you're sort of moving slow, right? I mean, you're moving like you should when you're looking for. He's just kind of stomping and whatever, pretty oafish about the whole thing. Doesn't really care if you wander into him or not. You sort of come up to this opening, and he's sort of resting up against a rock. He's like, "Well, I figured he'd be out here."
Yeah, well, if you've seen him out here and you know he's been out here, and you figured he'd be out here, I'm gonna guess he's out here somewhere.
I imagine so. He's looking around, and you can make.
Did you? I thought I heard something. I go to make a move
Go for it.
into the tree line here.
And you can go ahead and make a perception check, and he will as well. So he is entirely oblivious. He's just standing out in the open, but you see something sort of like scratching a tree over in this direction.
So I
And
caught sight of something.
yeah, I know you can see this. Marcus can't.
Okay, I
He's
try and make eye contact with Marcus. Is he looking at me at all? Does he have any awareness of what I'm doing?
he's looking at you funny because you're crouching around in the woods.
I tell him to get behind those rocks, or I point to those rocks and motion towards them.
He looks at us, see if he can. Let's see if he gets it.
Deciphers what I'm talking about.
Yeah. He sort of knocks on the rock. It's just a rock, man. Oh, that's all it is. And let's see. You know, you're like, oh shit. I mean, this guy just was loud, and so you look back to the Beast Man, and you see the Beast Man kind of perk up, and look around, and it's flexing its ears, and then it goes back to rubbing its horns against the tree.
Okay, I'm gonna try and move silently through the wooded area and make my way around the edge of the wood line,
All right.
the tree line.
Don't forget your +10 for Rover.
That's right. I'm not gonna forget it this time. So I'm going to use. Where is it? Where did it go? Silent move with Rover.
Yep. Succeeded.
Okay, so I move 4 spaces.
Yep. And Marcus is getting kind of curious now because you're being extra stealthy, so he's kind of looking around and
Yeah, he should know that.
he's given. I'm gonna give him a decent bonus since he's. And yeah, he's aware now that there's. He can't see it 100% clearly, but he sees you're kind of stalking something, and so he's gonna get out his flail and he's gonna start. I don't know if he would silently. He might try to move silently. We'll see if he moves silently. No attribute was found. That's funny because you rolled it. He sort of tries to creep, but he steps on a very loud twig, and just crack, and you hear it out, and it's like almost echoing through the air. It's like one of those things like, oh no.
He's right up the fucking over, too.
Mm-hmm. And let's see.
Wrong.
You would imagine so, smelling like that. And this time, the Beastman's ears perk up, and his eyes look over, and they meet Marcus's. And he goes, and you see the Beastman. And he starts stomping the ground. Man, flesh! And gets his sword that was down next to the tree and whips it out. And, you go ahead and get that sound off, and you can roll up initiative. Alright, and you will go first, and the Beastman is unaware of you.
He's unaware of where I'm at.
Yeah, he doesn't even know you're there.
I'm going to aim and fire at him.
Do it. So it's gonna be at plus 40 because you aimed and he's surprised, so yep. In the arm, go ahead and roll me damage. Oh, baby.
Bam!
Let's see, so that'd be minus
I
toughness.
see him notice Marcus, and as soon as he started huffing and puffing, I saw the snorting coming out of his nostrils. I took aim, lowered my bow, and aimed at him. As soon as he started making the slightest move, fired.
Yeah, and your arrow strikes true right at the joint of the elbow, and that's gotta be painful. It's sticking right in the joint, like you hear him just crying, just sort of Beastman roaring out, and you see birds flying around and leaving the area because of that roar. And he's looking around, and he sees you pretty clearly now, but he's in pretty rough shape now after that one. That was a solid strike. So, Beastman. And, you want odds or evens?
Odd.
He's going at you. So he's gonna move. He's got quite a bit of movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't quite get to you, but he's on his way over. He's pissed. And it's like a goat galloping at you with a sword.
Nice.
And it's just you hear some like really garbled, rugged, like horrific Reichspiel comes out. I eat man flesh, and he's just screaming at you.
I hit his right arm. Was that his weapon hand?
It was, but it was not a critical result. Yeah. So Mad Marcus. He will. I believe he can get. Yes, he can get a straight line charge. So he will. Mad Marcus will charge at this Beastman. Yep, he got his flail out, and he's just gonna go for it. It's gonna be with a plus 10. Solid strike. 11, and that's a crit table roll. Absolutely. Let's see, what was it at? 11, so 11 minus 4 is 5. It's crit table roll of plus 3. So 1d100. And it's an arm shot. That's a 44. Result 7. Hand turned into a bloody ruin. Anything held in this hand... that music's too loud. That recording's going to be rough. Hand turned into a bloody ruin. Anything held in this hand is dropped, excepting his shield. Blood loss is such the character has a 20% chance of dying each round until medical attention is received. Tests at the start of victim's turn each round. Sudden death rules for any further critical hits in this opponent. So he does have his shield in that arm. That is his left arm, so he does not lose that. But he is in pretty dire straits. Marcus just runs up behind him and demolishes his hand.
Took him by surprise since he was coming after me.
Mm-hmm. And this beast man, like the roar was sort of intimidating, but this is almost like a goat yelping. Like this sounds pathetic when he gets his hand busted up.
I
Um,
load I load a bolt in and I fire.
Alright, it's gonna be just your standard. And he's in a melee, so that's gonna be minus 20. Yep.
Minus 20.
Yeah, for shooting into a melee.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
That charge was a bit intimidating.
Well, that and I don't want to hit the other guy.
Yeah, you don't want to hit Marcus either. So yeah, the bolt flies wide of the Beastman.
As he spun around to face Marcus,
Yes,
my bolt flew off to the other side.
it caught his shield when he spun around, and he's definitely gonna try to put the hurt on Marcus. And he's just gonna all out attack. He's desperate. Marcus is skilled enough to get out of the way,
Nice.
and now he'll follow up.
Counterattack, Marcus. Counterattack.
And he's just gonna attack normally.
Dodge that blow and swing.
And oh, he missed. No, misses. He's gonna assume a defensive stance for parrying. It's back to you.
I'm gonna switch to my sword and charge.
Let me see. I think readying a weapon is a half action, and then charging is a full action. So I don't know if you're able to do that. Let's
Can't
see.
do a half action in the full action. Oh, two half actions.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna ready my weapon. I'm gonna drop my crossbow and pull my sword out,
Mhm.
and then move forward.
Yep, you can do that.
Okay.
So Beastman is solely focused in on Marcus at this point because Marcus just destroyed this guy's hand. So he does not notice you right now. He's aware of you back there, so no bonus for that. But he's not worried about you. And it's going to be another all-out attack, and he hits him this time.
Feeling good.
Hit him good. Maybe it's to the damage. 6 to the arm. And from your perspective, that was a pretty clean strike, and it opened up a nice gash, but Marcus doesn't even flinch.
He's still standing there.
Oh, shit, he has a parry. I need to remember that he has these things. So he might not even take damage from it. Nope, he does. Alright, so it's a nice gash in his arm, but he just doesn't even register with him.
Okay.
He's gonna attack with a bonus now from your surround and miss. But he is gonna go into another parry. And it's back to you.
I attack him with my longsword. I raise it up above my head and come bringing it down on top of him while he's facing Marcus.
Alright. Give yourself a plus 10 for the surround. You bring it down, it sort of scrapes along one of his horns as he was kind of bucking around with fighting Marcus, and just sort of slides off. And now he's realizing that he's got multiple people on him, so we're gonna do the evens and odds again. So roll. What do you want, evens or odds? It's coming after you now. And did you aim your attack with a longsword? Or did you still have a half action left?
No, I didn't aim. I should have, but
Yeah, you can use that to set up a to set up a parrying stance, so you can parry anything. So we'll go with he's gonna attack you, but he's fighting a bit more carefully now because he realizes that he's in a
You got 2-on-1.
yeah. So he's gonna just make a standard attack and then assume a parry stance. Left leg, roll me a parry, see if it hits you. You parry it.
Swing my sword down as he tries to come at me. Block him.
He roars in your face, nasty beastman breath, and you can just smell the carcasses he's been eating out here. Another go for Marcus. Misses. Setting up to parry again, back around to you.
I gotta do a standard attack. I want to save some energy so that I can parry if I need to.
Alright, go ahead and attack. Standard plus 10. He's wily. He's fighting desperate.
He's fighting us both off.
And it's just a whirlwind of limbs, basically. He's just all over the place. It's a natural speed that the beastmen have that you've heard. I mean, you might have fought beastmen before or not, but you've seen this before, and or you might have heard of this, and it's a natural speed. The beastmen, they're just all over. And roll me another, or no, give me evens or odds.
Odd.
Going after you again. Misses. He's going to be set up in a parry again. Marcus getting frustrated. So why can't we put this monster down?
Hit him. Hit him.
Alright. And he swings, and the Beastman's going to try to parry. But fails. 13. That is... Let me see this crit tab. I'm pretty sure that's almost a guaranteed death, if I remember correctly. That's going to be at over 10. Yes, no matter the result, this Beastman will die. So... Marcus, and this is in the arm. Got a whole lot of arm kills. This is the right arm that I think you shot earlier, so there's a crossbow bolt sticking out of it. Marcus brings his flail up under that arm and just completely snaps it, like, just in a horrific way. You hear the bones crack, like tree branches breaking. And the Beastman staggers and falls to the ground, crying out in pain. Marcus brings his flail on top of his head and just splatters it, covers you in a bit of Beastman brain.
Splat blood
Yep.
everywhere.
And the Beastman falls over, dead.
The job is done, Marcus.
I finally. That was a tough one. And he's
I don't think I took any wounds, did I?
no, neither, Marcus did, but only a couple. You didn't though. And Marcus sort of has a seat on the Beastman's back haunches and is breathing deep. He's like, "Ooh." And he starts rooting around in what's left of his pockets and hands over and reaches over to give you your pay. And it is I believe it was 4 gold crowns.
So, you were just carrying those 4 gold crowns around with you in your goddamn pockets.
And he smiles, just basically to the smile, like, "Hi. Well, no one was really in a position to take it from me."
Any cut person in an alley could have taken those 4 gold crowns from you.
True, but with this, and he gestures towards his flail, how many would have tried?
Mm.
And he,
You fought well here today when you killed this beastman. I think we might have a place for you in our band. You said your wife is dead, your children are dead, your land is lost. What do you have left to live for? Join us. We are headed to Altdorf to make money. Come with us.
he sort of scratches his head. Well, I couldn't claim all the credit for killing the beastie. I did hire you, and now you're trying to hire me. Strange turn of events in the Empire, isn't it? But you are right. I got nothing better to do. So, he spits on his hand and holds it out. Shake on it then.
Marcus, I don't want your spit-filled hand. I want you to give me 3 gold coins for helping you kill this beast, like I promised. You can keep 4 gold coins as payment for the next month while you join us.
Okay, fair enough. And he takes the spit-covered hand and gives you the 3 gold coins in that hand.
You're disgusting, Marcus, but you're a good fighter. You'll fit with this team perfectly.
I certainly hope so. And he's able to find what he's looking for. He looks on the ground, and there's a broken piece of beastman horn that survived the flail hit to this thing's head. And he snatches it up and shoves it in his pocket. The third one, I've been looking to complete my set. And he,
You have a set of beastman horns?
aye, that was the third piece. That's the one I needed. And his eyes are kind of like the spooky eye, kind of look big eyes and looking at you. I've been wanting to get that last piece for a while. Thank you.
So, I've added 3 gold crowns to my inventory. We searched the beast.
He has a hand weapon and a shield. And that's it. And his disgusting hide. If you're gonna sit there and shave that off.
I'm not going to shave his hide off. We've got his horns. And we'll take his hand weapon and his shield. And head back to town.
Alright. And Mad Marcus will become one of the Gutter Blades now.
It's becoming late in the evening, so I will introduce Mad Marcus the next day.
Alright. And was there anything else you wanted to do in town?
I don't think so. I think that was pretty much it.
Alright, so we will call that a scene. Let me go ahead and end it.